Hi everyone, welcome back to the Fast Life with Shelly. On this channel, I talk about alternate day fasting and how it's helped me lose so far over 42 pounds and continue to make progress on my weight loss journey. I also talk about health and wellness, and I hope that I can share some tips and information that will help you on your health and wellness journey. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. In today's video, I'll be answering a question that I've been getting recently and one that I asked myself when I started alternate day fasting. What's the big question? So the question is, why am I so hungry on my fast? That's what I've been getting. And I asked myself that when I first started off, especially doing alternate day fasting, not eating every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I felt ravenous, like so hungry on the days that I wasn't eating. And it wasn't smooth sailing just starting off. I had some days where I was supposed to be fasting and I gave in and I ate and I pigged out. And then as I got a little more comfortable and I got a process down for myself, and we'll dive into some of the tips and things you can do to help yourself prepare and not be so hungry during your water fasting. But before I did that, I had, days where I first started off new to ADF and I gave in. I ate and I ate junk food. Sometimes, I only had a few calories. But as I got a process and a system down for myself and started to research and understand what was driving my hunger and why was I not able to stick to it, I started to realize that it's not just mindset and discipline. You need a strategy and you need preparation to be able to get through your days where you're water fasting. So let me share some of these tips with you. A big one is you might be having too many carbs on the day before your fast. So if you're eating, a lot of simple carbohydrates like rice, bread, pasta, crackers, cookies, chips, junk food, things that are really going to spike your blood sugar. And, if you're like me and you're really sensitive to carbohydrates, you're kind of like in that age bracket where things are changing for you, your 30s, 40s plus, and, you're not able to even eat a large amount of carbohydrates and your insulin spikes, then you may even have to kind of tone down your overall carbohydrate intake. But, if you're eating a lot of the simple carbs, the rice and whatnot, and things that spike your blood glucose level, you might find that you experience, on the days that you're fasting, something called a sugar crash. So, when you eat a lot of junk food, you feel good at first, it's tasty. Who doesn't love, a good piece of cake or cookie or whatnot, pizza? A couple crackers or chips. But if that is your diet on the day before your fast, you might struggle. So what's the big deal with having too many carbs? Well, the problem is that once you stop eating all those carbs, that sugar on the day that you're water fasting, your blood sugars dip. And then you have the headaches, the irritability, the shakiness. You might have stomach aches. You just might feel fatigued. And then you find it a lot harder to fast because your body is telling you, eat, 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 eat. When, all you needed to do before was, decrease your carbohydrate intake, stick to those whole healthy foods, proteins, healthy fats like, avocados, olive oil, olives, nuts, seeds, grains. I like walnuts, pumpkin seeds, a few almonds, and salmon, canned tuna, even tofu. I know some people might be like, oh, tofu and the hormones, but I've never had an issue. So if you were to stick to a clean as possible, real life happens. I'm not perfect, but as much as possible, stick to clean eating, your, fruit, low carb fruits. I like a lot of berries like raspberries, strawberries. Occasionally I'll have some, watermelon since it's the season now. But usually I try to stick to the low carb fruits. I'd have like bell peppers, leafy greens, kale. So I think intuitively, most of us know kind of what's good for us health wise. It may not always be your first choice, but I think, if you stick to those whole foods, things that are not in a package, veggies, and then high protein, some chicken. If you like beef, I like ground beef. Sometimes I'll cook a hamburger patty and just grill it up or sizzle it on the stove and have me some, grilled veggies on the side. And then I find that to be really filling and get your fiber. You'd have a more successful fast because the next day of water fasting, if you've gotten in your fiber, your protein, your veggies the day before, then your body's not going to experience that dip like it would if you had spent the whole day before, feasting on sugar and junk food. Another reason you might always be hungry on your fast days is you're thirsty. You might need to drink more water. So, the research shows that a good rule of thumb is to drink around half of your body weight in ounces in water. So for instance, I'm not 242 now, woo-hoo. But when I'd take 242, I divided it in half, I got 120. I brought a huge bottle off Amazon, and I'll put it in the link. I'm not an affiliate, but I just like the water bottle, and any water bottle you like that works for you. But it's about 120 ounces of water, and I would drink that throughout the day. So get your water in. Sometimes you think you're hungry and you're really thirsty. You can also have 0-calorie, no sugar drinks such as the carbonated water. My favorite brands are Bubbly. There's also another one, Waterloo. Anything that is 0 calories, that has no sugar, nothing that's going to spike your insulin levels. I tend to stay away from diet sodas. I mean, even though technically they are 0 calorie, they have that, fake sugar, aspartame in there. I'm not by any means a health nut. I just know what works for me. I have given in the past, and I've had like a Coke Zero, it didn't ruin anything. I needed it to kind of get me through. But nowadays I stick with the coffee, the tea, the water, and that's gotten me through. So stay hydrated. Another big reason why you might always be hungry on your fast is you need electrolytes. And that's what I found out the hard way. So when you're fasting, not only are your insulin levels dropping, and so it's telling your kidneys to flush out all these electrolytes like magnesium, potassium, sodium, or salt, but you're also drinking a lot of water. So that's going to flush out electrolytes as well and dilute them in your body. So if you're noticing that you're having a lot of headaches, you're feeling, jittery and just overexerted and tired, it might be that you need some electrolytes. I'll pop up some of my favorite brands on the screen. And a quick hack, if you don't feel like spending a bunch of money on fancy electrolytes, there's always the good old fashioned pink Himalayan salt, sea salt. And then there's that Morton's, I believe the brand, light salt, or any light salt. You'll see that it has sodium and potassium in it. So just something that I used back in the day before I started buying electrolytes. Of course, before you start taking any electrolytes, do your own research. If you need, run it by your healthcare provider. If you're taking other medications, you have things like kidney or heart issues, do your due diligence to make sure that you're getting the right electrolytes for you if you go that route. Okay, all right, next one. Another big reason why you might be struggling on your water fast days is that you're not getting enough sleep. I used to fall prey to this in the beginning. It's so hard to put that phone away and go to sleep, or, life's busy. And when you get off work, you're done with children or household chores. You just want to enjoy every last minute until you have to go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. But when you're alternate day fasting, sleep is even more important. So aim for your 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's what works for me. And I save my kind of 8 to 9 hour days for maybe the weekends or a day I don't have to work the next day. But sleep is super important. When you're not sleeping enough, your body increases ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and decreases leptin, your satiety hormone. So on those days that you're water fasting, let's say you're sleeping 4, 5, 6 hours. I mean, everyone's body is different, so the optimal amount of sleep for you. But generally advisable to get around 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And I think once you do that, you'll see how much more capable you feel to get through your water fasting. So get your sleep. Boredom might be another big one as to why you're hungry on the days that you're fasting. I know it might not seem like it, but when you're bored, you might be more prone to reach for foods to fill the time. And I know I did that. So it wasn't really that I was hungry. It was just that I was so used to eating, and we're so accustomed to eating, every day, multiple times a day. So water fasting can be a big shock to the system on your alternate day fast, days, because you're used to eating at certain times throughout the day. You anticipate that food to come. So what do you do to fill the time when you're not cooking, eating, cleaning up after eating? You will notice that you have a lot more time in the day that would have been used to do all the things surrounding preparing food and eating. So boredom is a big one. What did I do? I started getting busy, clean up, call a friend or family member, spend time with your friends and family. Heck, pick up a hobby, do anything that's going to keep your mind and body occupied, that's not too strenuous on your fast days. You can also do some gentle activity that's not too harsh on your system. On my fast days, I like to get in my 10,000 steps. I still do that whether I'm eating or not. Usually on my non-fast days, I'd be walking a lot more, but on my fast days, minimum 10,000 steps is what I'm aiming for. I get outside in nature. I might not be doing anything like an incline on a treadmill or a hill because I don't want to do anything that's going to, make me too hungry. But definitely getting outside, walking in the neighborhood. I have to walk the dog, so that keeps me busy. Spending time with kids. Just reading. Sometimes I love my Kindle. I try not to make my day all about just sitting around on the couch thinking about food. So do something that works for you, that's manageable, that keeps you hopefully out of the kitchen so you're not tempted. Sometimes if you have family that you're cooking for, you don't have a choice, but try to minimize that and just do those things that are going to help you stick to your fast and just keep you busy. All right, last reason why you might always feel hungry on your fast days is because you might not be fat adapted. So what does that mean? Well, that means that your body is a lot more efficient at using fat for fuel. And if you're interested in learning more about keto and how that's related to that, drop a comment and I can delve into that. I used to do the keto diet and was fat adapted. Being fat adapted goes hand in hand with decreasing the amount of sugars and carbs and junk food that you're eating, getting your insulin levels a lot lower and increasing your intake of the, healthy proteins, the healthy fats that we talked about earlier, the nuts, the seeds, the chicken, all the greens and low carb fruits that we talked about. So those go hand in hand. So over time, if you're doing the things that your body really wants you to do, eating whole, clean foods, eliminating as much as possible all the artificial things and the packaged foods, and you're eating your protein and you're getting your healthy fats in and you're getting your fiber and those fruits that you need, and drinking your water, your body over time, as you continue on with your alternate day fasting and keep your insulin levels low, you'll notice that your fasting becomes almost easy. Like for me personally, I now look forward to my fasting days. Like I love eating, of course, I'm human. I like eating on my feast days. But then because I'm doing the right things on my feast days, I'm getting in those healthy whole foods and keeping my carbohydrate intake low, I'm not going through a sugar crash the next day. So that fast day, I actually look forward to it. I wake up and I know that I'm going to drink my water. I'm not going to eat that day. I'm going to stay busy and I'm going to do all those things to keep myself occupied so that I am not going to feel pressed to eat on my fast days. So that's a big one. Keep with the healthy eating and you'll notice on the fast days that it's a lot easier for you. All right, so I just want to close this out with some quick hacks that help me get through my fast days. Drinking black coffee. First thing in the morning, I'd wake up, give myself a few minutes to, wake up naturally, and then within 30 minutes, an hour or so, I'd be having a black cup of coffee. What that did is it helped curb my appetite. I also had green tea that also boosts your metabolism, also curbs your appetite, and has a lot of other health benefits. I also put apple cider vinegar in my water. I have my big container that's about 120 ounces. I put a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in there. That has a lot of health benefits. It helped my skin as well. But the big one is it also helped curb my appetite and it decreases your blood sugar levels. I get the apple cider vinegar and I'll pop it up on the screen. I love this brand. I get the one with the Mother. So the Mother has all those healthy nutrients. It also is great for gut health and it helps with digestion. Last one is find your support system, kind of like what we're doing here, huh? Your friends, if they're on board, your family, same for them. Find your accountability partners, and I'm hoping that we can be each other's accountability partners. Find your fasting group. Sometimes it helps to have another buddy who shares your mindset, who's rooting for you, who's helping you stick with it, who's encouraging you in your fast and supporting your goals. So do what works for you. If you found today's video helpful, you got some value, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And until next time, stay fasting, stay fabulous. Bye.